You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com had one that I could not answer directly because times have been a-changing, and also they're two separate questions, but I'll just answer the question here. So I had to look some stuff up, and I didn't like the advice I was reading because I know it wasn't going to work, so I'll just give you a crapshoot. How does that sound? Hey, Cappy, you don't have to anonymize this. You can say my name and everything. Hey, Aaron, I was wondering if you could make a video about bullies you experienced in high school and in the workplace. I myself am a short individual. I'm only 5'3". Oh, God, heaven help you. So there's no doubt that people see this in me and choose to pick on the little guy, so to say. One distinction I have experienced and noticed is that high school bullies tend to be more physical, while in the workplace it is more verbal. Yeah, because if you punched your coworker, you'd be fired. There's no consequences to punching or fighting people. In high school, they award those people scholarships. But yeah, in the workplace, that's the one thing that happens. I personally don't care for bullies and hope they get their asses kicked by those crazy quiet people that go on shootouts, laugh out loud. But I do remember you mentioned how one of your high school bullies died and how these people usually grow into scum and criminals of society. It did happen. Probably the biggest bully of the school. He didn't bully me a lot, but the biggest bully of my high school would terrorize the kids smaller than me. He was a big guy, and the teachers of which, and the school management, the administration, were completely fucking worthless. Which we'll talk about later, but completely worthless. And I'll just let this guy run all over the place. But I looked him up, maybe because I'm curious. I'm just curious, and he's dead. He died He was a year older than me, so he would have graduated in 92. He died 5 years out of high school. And I tried to look up the police report and everything, couldn't find anything, but I bet you nuts, you don't die at the age of, 23 from a heart attack. I almost guarantee you he ran into somebody bigger and larger than him. He was used to being the big guy, and he's dead now. He's dead. And bullies don't necessarily die early, but their bullying career ends very quickly when they go out into the real world. Because usually there's cops and laws, and there's not an environment that is, headed up by the world's most incompetent people, teachers and public school administrators, that it's like a prison. It's just a prison. So yeah, once bullies leave the environment that they're allowed to thrive and survive in, they don't make it too much longer. They don't. And they certainly have to face things like finances. They never really studied much. They obviously have if they had intelligence, they didn't use it. So these people do get theirs in the end. I know a lot of you maybe are in high school, you're watching this, you're in middle school, they get theirs in the end, trust you me. Because school is not the real world. I know that doesn't make it good for now until you're 18, but school's not the real world. The old captain's got some tricks up his sleeve for you, because I too was a nerd and bullied relentlessly. So yeah, that guy did die. I have looked up other bullies in the past, and there's only one who's doing all right. Only one. And we're talking of about 8 to 10 that I regularly had to deal with. I myself had a bully that sexually assaulted a woman walking her kid on the street. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking. Bullies are like hot chicks from the suburbs. No one corrects them. So that when they get out there, then you got these hot babe teachers that go and sleep with their students and then they get busted in trouble. Or these gals grow up, they get old, they never learn any working skills or trades, and then they're completely hopeless. Once they lose their looks, they're completely hopeless. They're dysfunctional. They're cat ladies. And here's exactly what I'm talking about. I myself had a bully that sexually assaulted a woman while walking her kid down the stroller, and now that jackass will be forever listed in Megan's Law. Is that like a pedophilia law or sexual assault dude law? Anyway, that's what happens, because they have no regulator. No one's ever stopped them. It felt hilarious when I found out this clown would do something so retarded because he could have just gone to Tijuana or Amsterdam to get laid. The cherry on top was that this former bully of mine was married and has a kid. Oh my God. Clearly shows the lack of intelligence on this clown. As far as bullies in the workplace, I've surprisingly had a couple, and not to the degree that I had in high school. Yeah, they're around. They're a different type of bully. They're more mental. Some of them were physical, and now they were bullies in high school or middle school, and now they're bullies in work. but it's a mental issue I found with the handful of bullies I've had in the workplace. There was an idiot security manager of mine who would pick on me for being short, and this clown was so arrogant he would do it in front of everybody. I did talk shit back, but not to the degree that he did. I know that by him taking shit in front of everybody would backfire on because I work security in a county place where there are many women county employees, and we see this and report them to somebody, right? Because I'm sure you are aware how different women and men see things. Yep. So I knew he was going to get reported by some women eventually. And later on, the idiot got fired along with round 15. Really? Other security people for unrelated scheme that was going on with cheating on time sheets. But anyways, to wrap it up, I was wondering if you had any thoughts on how to go about handling bullies in the workplace and how people should not lose their cool with these clowns and scoundrels. Maybe you can make another video also for kids on how to deal with high school bullies. Thanks. All right, so let's go. We'll start chronologically. We'll do high school bullies. Here's what the old captain should have done. I didn't know this. No one told me. No one. All right? I go in, new school. I switched from a parochial school to a public school in the 7th grade, middle school. And, dude, I just kept to myself. I didn't bother anyone. Doesn't matter. The first thing about bullies is that they are evil, and they are always going to pick on the smaller guy. And the reason they do that is because they are cowards. You say, well, they're always fighting. Oh, they're cowards. Always. You ever see them go up against the captain of the football team or the wrestling team? No. They always go after people smaller than them. Right? So these are amoral, weak, cowardly scumbags. They will never pick on someone their own size. And it took me the longest time, like, I gotta fight this guy. And I'm fighting a guy, got 5 more inches of reach. A couple times, especially that one guy, literally weighing twice the weight I did. I mean, I didn't break 100 pounds until I was a sophomore, maybe a junior in high school. And, at least got a foot on me. It's like sending a freaking Sherman against a Tiger tank. RJ Jones will get that one. It is a completely unfair fight. What I should have just done, especially early on, is grab some kind of weapon and beat the ever-living mother. The first person that fucked with me, should have ambushed them, not killed them, not blinded them or anything, but because it's evening the odds. They have a weapon called an extra 100 pounds on you. That is a deadly force almost in some instances. So what I should have done, assuming I was under the age of 16, because you don't want to go to juvie, is, I don't know, a billy club or something, not a baseball bat, something that you could fuck up their legs, something you could fuck up their joints with, wait for them to come out, and then just go to town on them. And beat them, so send them into the hospital even. Send a message out. I'm not going to tolerate this motherfucking shit. And in hindsight, what I would have done is after the family and all that left, you're gonna go to the principal's office, and even back then in the 80s, you would have gone to where you probably would have gone. Cops would have been called. Old Aaron might have been in juvie, and there would have been a psycho. Well, why did you do that? But if even I would go to the hospital where the guy was, say, hey, how you doing, motherfucker? And then just say, I don't care if you ever torture me. I'm not gonna let it happen. I will put you back in this fucking hospital. You don't know where or when. Now, this results in escalations. Because remember, bullies are cowards. They will always get other people. They will always outnumber you. They'll be bigger than you, and they'll outnumber you. They're the most disgusting, verminous things. But what's the difference? You're going to be bullied anyway. You're going to have to stop it. So now, in the olden days, that's what I should have done. First person, I can't remember his name, Kenny something. I should have just, I don't know, got some books, a great one, grab some books, and say, hey, catch this, take my bike lock and just fucking wail on the kid. Knock him out, put him in the hospital. But there's obvious legal problems, but this is again why I say you would have had to been when I was under 16. Otherwise, you're facing assault charges. Times have changed, and where that may have worked in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, that will most certainly guarantee you a meeting with not only the principal and your parents and a psychologist, but Mr. Officer and Mr. Judge potentially. So what we're going to do is take a more practical modern day approach. That's more philosophically. The point of that story is to prove you can't let it stand. Here's the problem. Things may have changed. I highly doubt it. But in my day, your parents, your teachers, your administrators, and your principals were worth fuck all. You could say I'm getting bullied, Oh, don't fight, and then the pussy, coward, leftist, pacifist, well, I don't care who started it. You know, whoever, you got two people that got into a fight, the principals and administration didn't care who started it. They didn't care that the guy was bigger than you or anything. You both got suspended, all right? So you got to think about this in terms, and accounting for the fact your parents, your teachers, your principal, and counselors, completely fucking worthless. Completely fucking worthless. If anything, they're a mere formality to go through for you to solve your bullying problem. All right? Now, maybe you're lucky. Maybe you got a principal that's a guy and actually got in fights and understands. Maybe your dad's the type of guy who says, you know what? Somebody starts it, you beat the motherfucking shit out of that guy, all right? And I'm not going to be a principal. Or if you're in my case, you don't fight, it's so bad. I got punished a lot for getting in fights with my brother, and I got grounded a lot to the point I couldn't fight anymore. I used to be a pretty good fighter when I was younger, as a kid. But if you don't fight continually, you lose that. And then especially if you're small like I was, it really sucks in middle school. Anyway, so we're going to assume for now your parents and teachers, the adults, don't even exist. Because they don't. They fucking don't. In the vast majority of bullying instances, I love it. I get a kick out of it. We didn't know why she killed herself or he killed himself. We didn't know. It's like, yeah, your parents aren't fucking paying attention. They're not there. Neither is the principal. Like, oh my God, we didn't know. She just took out a gun and blasted her head off because of bullying. We had no idea. Yeah, you didn't see the kids fighting in the hallway, people getting shoved in lockers. So again, the adults don't exist. All right, it's the fucking Goonies. You're gonna have to handle this one on your own. So the first thing I would do, very simple, and there's more reasons than just avoiding bullying. Avoid high school. High school is incredibly inefficient. I talked about this before in another video. The more and more I think about it, high school is just an incredible waste of time. All of K through high school is a waste of time. Not because of education is bad, that has nothing to do with it, but it's a commute. It's a commute. In the old days, we didn't have an option. It was very efficient to herd all the kids in one place of institution, 50 kids per classroom, all right, now you all go home. That was efficient. Now the technology has happened that you have online high schools. You could attend high school online. And if you consider waking up, going away for the bus, going on the bus, I'll ride there, get back on the bus, I'll ride back, sit in homeroom or home office or whatever it is, that first hour where nobody does jack all, nothing's happening, you just sit there and take attendance. Lunch, recess, all this other stuff. You know what? You could get all your stuff done by noon. If you attend an online high school, it's accredited, you get your diploma online, you stay at home, you don't have to go to the fucking prison. You don't have to deal with the high school, the workout yard bully. You don't have to deal with drama, politics, any of it. You don't have to deal with any of it. You don't have to deal with your teachers. And I got news for you. An online tutorial or a YouTube tutorial or just a computer program or reading a book is better than most of your teachers. Sad but true. You want to learn American history? Download the American History podcast. You'll learn, you'll probably come out with a better education teaching yourself in front of a computer, taking these online, going through an online high school. Sometimes it's offered through your school district. Sometimes it's offered, there was another one, I think it's national. So I would investigate that. That's the first thing I would do is saying, I want to go, Dad, Mom, I want to go to an online high school. I want to study here. I'm 14. I should be able to take care of things myself. I won't burn down the house. And you got a responsibility, and it's just, I want to go to an online high school. The other thing is you can homeschool. Now, this probably requires your parents, because if you're getting bullied, parents probably aren't that great, and they probably are not the type to, hey, I'm going to spend the time and homeschool my kid. So you're gonna get homeschooled, but you're gonna do self-study. You're gonna study at home by yourself. And here's the thing about studying: all school is self-studying, is self-learning. Oh, there's a professor who might say something every once in a while. Oh, you might got to read a book, but it's you that's got to do the reading, writing, and research. So whether your parents actually stay home or not is moot. Matter of fact, I don't think it matters if your parents stay home or not. You could go through the curriculum yourself. You can self-teach. You can self-instruct. You could graduate early. You're not being held back by shipping in between classes, fighting in the hall room, dealing with lunch, getting shit thrown at you, having people put stickers on your back, going out to recess, playing stupid fucking games. You can skip all that. You can get it all done. I guarantee you, you wake up by 8, you hit the books at 9, you're done by noon. And then you could go and do other stuff. And if you want, follow the video advice I would have given myself in high school. And there's all this extra time that you can do stuff with. Teach yourself mechanics, go to college, whatever. So you do the online high school, you do the homeschool, self-homeschool if you have to. And then if it's bad enough and your state allows it, and you're not going to go to Harvard or Yale, that's the other thing. You're okay just going to a regular state school in college or enrolling in your local community college. I would strongly recommend you look into getting your GED. You drop out of high school, get your GED, and immediately enroll in a community college and start pursuing a college degree there. Make sure you can do that. Make sure you can drop out and get your GED at 14, 15, or 16. Make sure you can apply to a community college because some depends on the state. Sometimes you're not allowed to do that. And sometimes community colleges, well, GED won't cut it over here. Now you're up shit creek, right? And you got to go back to high school. Now you're a 19-year-old in high school. So that is the main point, is to simply avoid high school. Still get your diploma, optimally, ideally. You're going to do it way more efficiently and fast than what the public schools and shipping it back and forth on those stupid buses and all the interim and all the waste of time. They're going to have a school rally for school pride. Nope, you don't have to deal with any of the... We're going to have a person come in and talk to you about diversity and racism and sexism. Nope. Boom. Reading, writing, arithmetic. You can learn calculus. You can do chemistry. You can do anything you want. You're not limited or interrupted by bullies, teachers, other students, and men. You're not bothered at all right? So that's not only the best way, I'd say, to get a high school education and get some college classes in there while you're at the afternoon, but it's also a great way to avoid bullies, right? Now, if that's not an option, now we got to go through the channels. We got to jump the hurdles. You have to do it the right way, all right? First thing you got to do, especially now with the technology, it allows you to record the bullying. That is an absolute must. And the reason why is then you'll have a record. So if this ever ends up in front of a judge, you say, Your Honor, bam, right? And not just a record of the bullying, mind you, you're going to record your parents, the principals, the teachers, the guidance counselors, even the cops. When you say, I'm getting bullied, I'm getting beat up by this guy that's got 80 pounds on me and in 2 years, well, we'll go have a talk with him. Oh, well, let's shake hands now. And then you get beat up again, or you're thrown in the thing, or whatever else like that. So you're going to record your entire attempts, including the evidence. The evidence is just the first part of you getting bullied. Then you're going to record your attempts to get the adults to do something about it. Because remember, you're not allowed to fight. You're not allowed to defend yourself, because then you're going to be punished as well. At best, an in-school suspension. At worst, some juvie time. So then step number 2, after you record the bullying, is you go to your folks. You say, Mom, Dad, if your dad's around, I'm getting bullied at school. I would like it to stop. And at this point in time, you can reintroduce your request like, Mom, Dad, I would like to be homeschooled or take the online high school classes right now. And you should just do that right now for posterity's sake, to have it on the record. I told you I wanted to do this here. Well, you gotta be socialized, and I don't know, let's go have a talk. So, they're not gonna, you got really cool parents that say, yeah, you know what, you're right, high school's bullshit, let's just do it. But they're not gonna say that. So, you're gonna be forced to go back to the prison. So then you go into the principals. Right to the principal. No, not the guidance counselor. No, not the assistant principal. Nope, not the vice principal. I did not know there actually is a difference. Go right to the principal and you're recording it. And you tell them, I'm getting bullied. If it is this person, here is the evidence. And you're telling this, and you got to be very adult. And I mean, you got to be a man about it to the principal. He's not the principal. He's not this scary big guy anymore, all right? He is... If I wish you knew public education employees and how inferior people they are and just what fucks they are, because then you'd have the disrespect that I have for them and you understand who they truly are. But as for now, you go to the principal, I'm getting bullied by this person. Here's the evidence. I would like you to end it. And then you threaten him. You say, if it doesn't end, I'm going to beat the motherfucking shit out of him. And if it doesn't end, and and it still doesn't end, I have evidence that I came to you, and I'm going to go right to the fucking cops and right to a fucking lawyer if you don't do shit about it. I get bullied one more time. Fights, cops, lawyers. And that's ballsy, it's arrogant, it's cocky, but it really isn't if you're getting the shit kicked out of you and you're getting tormented. And I don't know what training these teachers get. I don't know what happens with public school teachers and public school administrators where they just let the bullying continue and they think they're going to have a conversation with a sociopath, that they're going to reason with it. You got to put the fear of God, and you may be a little 13-year-old or 14-year-old boy, you got to put the fear of God in that principal that you are going to do something if he doesn't. And it's going to come in one of three forms. You're going to ambush the fucker, beat the shit out of him, right? Hopefully he doesn't have friends. And I'd advise against that one because that'll land you in jail. But you're going to go straight to the cops and you're going to go straight to a lawyer. That's going to get him. The fighting is more of a threat to think like, well, yeah, he's this young little boy. He doesn't know any better. He might actually get into a fight. That's kind of like a bluff almost, because you're not going to do that. But the cops and the lawyers, and now I have you recorded that I told you on this date, right? And then you get up and you leave. That's it. If you come back here, you say, no, you take care of this. Because that's their fucking job. That is their fucking job. And then you go to whatever class you're supposed to go. They'll call you back. Bobby Bobson, come down to the principal's office. And I would take your evidence, whatever you recorded that principal with, I'd make copies and I'd hide it from that fucker. All right? You need that shit. All right? Because I do not put it past the public school. Again, I know you think they're your supervisors, and they are. And I know you think you're their elders, and they are. And you know, some of them are probably pretty good people. Some of them. Most of them, not in my experience, most of them are fucking inferior pieces of shit. And like I said, you gotta operate from the premise the adults are not in this one. Now we're giving the adults the chance to come in and help you out, solve the problem. Alright? Giving them a shot. But if anyone who's been bullied, anyone's been the nerd and has been bullied, you know these teachers and your parents are going to be fucking worthless on this one. All right? You guys are like, yeah. So we're giving them a shot. We're giving them a chance. Okay. So, hopefully, your sincerity and your sternness and your take care of this fucking shit now attitude will scare the principal into actually for once doing their fucking job in the history of principals. The bullying should end. There should be no more even hints or funny haha or anything like that. And you should be, in theory, allowed to go to school unharassed. If it doesn't stop, now we got to one-up it. Okay, you went to your parents, you went to your principal. All right, the next step, go to the cops. What bullies do to you is illegal. It's harassment. And it's assault if they're beating you up. All right, if you got proof of that, you go right to the cops. Okay? And then you go to the cop to say, hi, I'm Bob Bobson. My parents are typical dipshits that don't believe that bullying happens, and my principal's a fucking pussy. Don't say that. You just go to the cop and say, I went to my parents, I went to my principal, I'm not getting any help. I'm getting assaulted and harassed by this guy, and I want to press charges. Show them the evidence. Did you really go to your parents and the principal? Show them the recording. Then they're going to be like, oh shit. And now you introduce Child Protective Services. Now this isn't likely going to happen, but now your folks might actually start paying attention to the problems you have when they find out you went to the cops without them knowing. You went to and they did, and now you went to them with the problem because neither they nor the principal could solve it. I know you parents and you principals are all like, how dare you step on a... I don't know how many kids gotta fucking bump themselves off before you start taking this shit seriously, huh? And by the way, I am never going to forget what I had to go through and how fucking worthless the adults were in that situation. All right? I actually feel for the kid. So, kid goes to cops. Cops, okay, holy shit. And you know what? Guess what they're gonna do, guys? Guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna get your parents, because they should. They're gonna get the principal probably, and they're all gonna have a conversation. All right? And what you gotta do is you gotta hold firm. You gotta hold firm. Like, I am not getting the shit kicked out of me. I'm not being kicked. I'm not being tripped. I'm not being thrown in lockers. I'm not. What happened? This one kid. I was the second biggest nerd in my school. The biggest nerd in my school. Who I won't mention his name. He ended up moving. I was like, shit. I'm number one. There was like this place where they put the mats and the stuff in the gym, and then when they had there was a gym, but it also served as a performance area. There's a theater raised up, and they put all the stuff underneath the theater. Well, they locked this kid underneath that, because, you know, people are just so fucking cool. I tried to get him out. I ended up getting locked underneath there. I'm like, yeah, I could kill every one of these motherfuckers. Aaron, why don't you believe in the United States? Because that was a pretty white and a pretty Republican district. As a matter of fact, everybody who did the worst things to me were white people and Republicans, so fuck them. So anyway. Now there'd be a conversation. Now, and by God, this should be it. This should be enough. Because now you've gone above your parents, you went above them to the principal, and then you went above the principal, and you went to the fucking authorities, you went to the cops. And this should be the end of it. Somebody, a cop, principal, whatever, is going to either talk directly to that kid, or they're going to go talk to the parents of that kid, say, you knock this shit off. And then that should end it. Day 3 rolls around. You walk in. Biff McBiffson, because he's a dipshit, he's dumb, he's stupid. He's gonna walk. He decides he doesn't listen to his parents. He doesn't know who his dad is. He's a single mom, product of a single mom. I don't know, my son. He didn't do nothing. Biff McBiff comes up and decides to start fucking with you again. But this time you gotta laugh. You just gotta laugh. And I know it's not fun, but this time you just gotta laugh, because what did I tell you? Adults are fucking worthless in this situation. So now you go find a lawyer. All right, now I don't know how, because now the system is failing you, and now you gotta get a lawyer in there. And I would go and I don't know where, but you would go find, maybe I'll just search the internet. You don't have any money, so the lawyer's going to have to take this charitably. What I would do is maybe look for the top law firm. Why not start there? Go to the top law firm, say, I got a bullying lawsuit for you. And you have to use bullying because that's a hot topic. And law firms like to get notoriety and advertisement. So even though they'll work for you for free, and even though normally they're paid $500, $1,000 an hour at times, you're not going to pay for that. You don't have that money. You're a kid. But they may take it pro bono, meaning for free, because of the notoriety and fame and free advertising they get out of the deal. So I would probably even start, top law firm, and let's say you're in Cincinnati. Go there. Call them up. Explain your situation. Say, I'd like to know what my options are. Who are you going to sue? Principal, school, bully's parents, not the cops. Okay? And not your folks, and then sue the cops. Include the cops as well. All right? Because you got to live at home. And basically what's going to happen is inevitably your parents are going to acquiesce and say, okay, fine, you can go to school online here at home. They would have said it a long time ago. But this is it, lawyers. Send guns and lawyers. Right? So you haven't fought. All you've done is recorded for you, and you've been recording you recorded the cops, your parents, the principal, the bullying. And now you get the lawyers in, and the lawyers come in and they say, all right, assholes, a lot of you at fault here, failing to provide a safe space, a safe environment for my client, Bob Bobson, to attend school. All right? We also are going to now the cops may even file criminal charges against the guy, assault and all that. And so you could go after, civil and criminal, I guess? You have to talk to the lawyer about it. I hope to God it doesn't come to this point. I hope to God it doesn't. But by God, I'll tell you this. What I had to go through, and what every other young kid had to go, every small kid, everyone that was bullied had to go through, this would totally be worth it, and it'd totally be easier than the fucking bullshit we went through. All right? So, You do that. I don't know what you take it up to. The Supreme Court, there's nothing. After lawyers, I got nothing. Hopefully after this 5th level of escalation, you're going to get some resolution. But like I said before, I think your parents will have you attend school online if you're going to give them that much shit. And then maybe they fucking pay attention to you. Oh, really? There's something wrong at school? I thought just being a pacifist would be fine. Turn the other cheek. So then finally, if that doesn't work, you know what I would do? Just don't go to school. Don't physically go to school. I'd play hooky. I'd drop out. They can't, a 14-year-old boy, 13-year-old boy, you're smart enough. You can run. You can figure it out. Fine, you get to the truancy officer. You go to juvie jail. Fine, okay, that's better than getting the shit kicked out of you. But while you're skipping school, you're really not skipping school. What I would do is enroll yourself in an online high school and get your high school diploma that way. You say, yeah, I'm taking the bus, and then you leave. Yeah, I'm biking to school, and you go to the coffee shop. Go to the library, study. And then if a cop ever comes up and says, hey, aren't you supposed to be in school? You say, yes, sir, I am in school. I go to school online at the high school university online. And if you're really smart, what you do is not only do you enroll in the high school online, then you go and you enroll at your local community college, or you enroll in Western Governors University and start taking college classes online, or at the local university. Now, if you enrolled at the community college, there's a benefit there, and that when you go to the campus, if a cop was to come down and hunt you down, he said, what are you doing? You're supposed to be in high school. Well, I'm in college. I have a college class. Oh, if it's a smart cop, he'll say, yeah, but you're supposed to be in high school according to your parents. If it's a dumb cop, they'll probably be like, oh, he's in school. He's fine. He's anywhere. He's in college. Well, he's a really smart kid. All right, nothing's wrong here. Let's go get some donuts. Which cops don't really do all the way, by the way. And this is to kind of make sure that you're really not going to play hooky. You're not going to go smoke cigarettes behind the mall. You're going to go and get your high school diploma. If you do it right, and thank God for the internet, you'll be able to do it on the cheap. You should be able to get your high school free. But you should also be able to get a couple college classes in, maybe a year's worth of college classes in, easy. I'd say 2, by the time you go from 14 to 18. Right? But again, if you're playing hooky and sneaking into community college, I'm just thinking where I would have logically gone. If I have the wisdom that I had now, what I would have told my younger self about bullying, like, okay, now you're going to go here. Now you're going to go there. All right. Well, wait for the buzz. All right, now go, run. Okay, jump behind the tree. All right, wait. Okay, all right, they're going. All right, now, just bike normally. Put your backpack on. Make it look like you're going to school. All right, don't hang right. Now go left and sprint off to Hennepin Anoka Ramsey Technical College. So that's what I would do. That's what I would do. So, ideally. You don't have to go to DEF CON level 23 like I just described. Hopefully you got parents that are like, yeah, you know what? Let's have you go to the online school. I know the argument is, well, you got to get acclimated and you got to get socialized. And these are the habit. Bullshit. High school ends. High school is fake. That's the fakest environment. I don't know anybody from high school anymore. I don't hang out with anybody from high school anymore. Only thing I do with people in high school is look them up to see what fucking shitty lives they're leading now. So you don't need the social life of high school. It sucks. You're not missing out on anything. People aren't smart there. They're not mature. They're not advanced. They're not involved. They're kids. Fuck them. All right? You got more important shit like your future. And you sure as fuck have the right to not be harassed or assaulted by people twice or thrice your size or in number. Very fucking simple. So I hope I gave you some ideas. I hope to God I don't hear about you in the news. Well, Aaron Clary said to contact a lawyer, and I went through all the steps, and I got all, I'm like, oh shit, Jesus Christ. It's that bad. Okay. Bullies at work. All right, this is a different beast. This has never really been a problem for me, as much as it's been maybe an annoyance. But like I said before, once school ends, the physical bullying stops, because you get fired. It's amazing how you don't send kids to jail for fighting and assault. Oh, but once magically you graduate from high school, then we do. Because if I punch someone in the hallway of the water cooler. Not only am I getting fired, I'm going to jail and I'm getting a lawsuit. But you see, oh Aaron, that's funny how you mock it. How dare you have the kid go to the cops and file a lawsuit? That's exactly what adults would do if they were assaulted and harassed and bullied like they were in high school as an adult in the working world. So, all right. Here's where you have to discern or delineate when you're getting bullied at work. Is it coming from a boss or a coworker? Coworkers, I had probably two stand out, but they didn't even bother me because they were coworkers. I'd look at them, I'd say, "Are you my boss?" And then they'd go, it's like, "You're not my boss. Don't worry, I'll get to it." Because usually they needed something from me, and these were dicks. Here's the other thing that I have a policy on. I make sure I'm on top of my game. I make sure my work is done, I'm caught up, and that there's no loose ends. So if someone comes and complains to me and they say, "Hey Aaron, I didn't get that report," I know I sent that report. I say, "Mike, here's the email. I sent it to you 2 days ago in 13 hours." Right? Did you check it? So I don't screw up. That's the first thing. Right? So then when people come and complain, they're wrong. Now sometimes people make honest mistakes. Some people aren't really that smart or that professional or efficient. But then there's some guys that it was personal. That's how you know it's something like they got a vendetta. One guy, I programmed this model. He audited over 2,000 formulas that I programmed. And not bad, old captain here, not bad. He found a slight, you can't even call it error. It was more of an opinion of what is the difference between the cash ratio and the current ratio. And he didn't like how I was treating cash. It was a technicality. So out of like 2,000 numbers and formulas, and I'm like, okay, I can change that. Well, just to let you know, you had an error on your model. I'm like, it's not really an error, but if you prefer to do it that way, I can do it, And it's just, and this guy, and that was only one thing, but this guy had it out for me. Now, here's the thing, he wasn't my boss, so I could just be like, yeah, okay, I get on that. And it's tone. I found that with bullies at work. What rare times I ran into them, it's like, you gotta let them know that they're not your boss, and you'll get to them when you damn well please. Matter of fact, I might, and you can tell them, like, would you like that? Because the more you harass me about it, it's going to take a little bit longer. You done? Okay, good. If you really want something to do, go talk to my boss because I answer to him, not you. Stuff like that just gets, and it's true. It's like, I'm sorry, another question, I did this with another guy in bank. I'm like, say, Mike, on the diagram, on the chain of command, does the dotted line go across between you and me, or does it go down from you to me? And is it a solid line, or is it a dotted line that goes across? And it would be handy to have it, because I did have it, and just turns around and walks away. Is it across the line, or does it go down? Because if it's across, go fuck yourself. But otherwise, and everything I looked up online about dealing with bullies at work, they say, oh, don't agitate the bullies. Well, if they're not your boss, you don't want to curse at them or yell at them and get in a shouting match. But you just kind of like play with them. Does the line go across? Oh, okay, well, you're not my boss, so, I'll get to it when I feel like it. Maybe after I deal with the secretary, because she's nicer than you. If you want shit done, change your attitude. And and see, here's the thing. They may want to punch you, but they can't, because then you can sue them. You get a lot of money. Or you sue your employer. Get even more money. All right, so that's how you deal with the coworkers. And I've never. Now, you should always collect evidence and this and that. Like, they're filming you. And usually it's about, they want you to do something for them. And it's not your job. Or they didn't like how you did something. You did just fine. It's just the results that they didn't like. And it's just like, film it. Whatever. Email, document. These people recommended, write a journal. Keep a journal. A journal is not evidence. Save emails. Film. Record. Have a record button, right? And that would be a good thing. Big red record button. Like, hang on, let me hit my big red record button. What were you going to say to me? And then just like me, you could do it. And I think this, like in school, if you fight the bully immediately and establish you're not going to be rolled over, if you demonstrate, metaphorically or psychologically you're not going to be pushed over, hang on. Okay, now what do you want to say to me? It shows that you just like give zero fucks. You're not intimidated by them at all, and that what normally intimidation would work on other people ain't gonna work with you. That's what. Now they get they get very angry, and they'll try and find something else. Like they keep prodding, trying to find mistakes, and they find really just technicalities. But again, make sure you have your shit in order. So there's nothing wrong. There are no infractions. The boss is a different deal, because you need your boss. Now I've had sadistic bosses. I've had bosses that lied. They constantly changed the job descriptions. They demanded things that were contradictory. And I don't mean that because they want something that was hard to do. No, they want things that were mutually exclusive. One guy wanted me to, when I do credit analysis, it's pretty much all numbers. It's pretty much set. You plug in the financial statements. Out comes the ratios. Oh, here are the ratios. Well, I don't like these ratios. Well, I guess you better wait till next year till he files a new tax return, and then maybe his ratios will improve. Well, you sure you did this? Yes, I'm sure at the age of 35 I did this right. Well, I think you just didn't treat these things right. So, okay, well, then you do it. It's just like that. So, bosses can make your life hell because you need the job. They're your boss. They can tell you what to do. So, what you need to find out is how far up does the rot and the corruption go? And this is the problem that I've found. All right? If you have a true bully rogue boss, his boss likely doesn't know about it. There are some very good sociopaths that can hide their evil and their dictatorial and immoral behavior and desires. Just watch Band of Brothers, the character that David Schwimmer played, Captain Sobel. That's a perfect example of somebody who can hide and scheme and is a sociopath. Sometimes you run into him. And that's a good thing, because that means his boss doesn't know about the bullshit going on. Now, I had a boss that was not really a bully, but just a time suck. And inevitably I found out that, her boss didn't know what was going on. And I was like, oh, so that boss was receptive to, I said, hey, there's some, not illegal, but wrong shit going on here, and this has to end. Right? So they were receptive to that. But if the corruption and the rot goes up, not 1, 2, but 3, all the way to the top, and that's what happened when I worked at a couple banks, there's no recourse. You can't go over his head. You can't go to your boss's boss. You can't go to his commanding officer, because they're just as corrupt as the guy beneath them. Now, in the example that I'm giving here, it was in banking. This was at a small, crappy community bank. The CEO, all the way down, we've got to make more sales. We need more loans. We made all these bad loans, so we're going to make more loans to get the fees to get us out of these. Then we'll sell those bad loans on the secondary market. Maybe no one will know the difference. Well, no one told us that. So here I am trying, why are we even analyzing these loans? Why are we even taking applications? So my boss would get on my ass, bully and this and that and that and this, and there was nothing I could do, because in hindsight, when I look up, his boss, regional VP, just senior VP, and then that guy's boss's boss was the CEO or the COO, corrupt all the way to the top. And if that's the case, well, what does the old captain always say? What's your number one second job, guys? Outside of lifting weights, what is the next second job? You have several second jobs, right? In addition to your full-time job, what is one of the top 3 second jobs you're supposed to have? You're always applying for another job. You are always looking for another job. It is worth that half an hour to an hour a night. Or maybe not an hour, but it's worth that half an hour a day, at least once a week, an hour a week, to go out there and test your market value. See if there are other jobs out there. It's good to have multiple sources of income. And what I had was ballroom dance and rental income. So when my boss was asking me for literally impossible shit to do, I said inevitably, I told him to fuck off. And literally that's it, I'm done. I walked out, he wasn't there. He called me up, where are you? What did I just, you motherfucker, you stupid fucking die. It was the greatest eating out, just ripping apart ever in the history of bosses. Just gave him a new one. And so, now what I did is I did look him up. This is another thing. I'll save that for later. I'll tell you what Clary does later on with bullies. So the larger point is this: you got to assess how high up the corruption goes. If his boss, or your boss's boss, he or she is just as corrupt as your boss, there's no point. You need to find another job. And again, why you're always applying for other jobs. Why you should have multiple sources of income. Because your health and your mental health and physical health and your time is just not worth it. And usually when you're in institutions or organizations like that, people are like, what about my career? Your career is not going to go anywhere anyway with these highly corrupt and inefficient and incompetent organizations. Every person in this particular bank I'm talking about ended up getting fired. Every one of them. And now their new organization came in. And so if I was promoted, I would have been wiped out and fired along with them. So you're not giving up on anything. There's no hope or future there when you have a bully for a boss. But if your boss's boss is not a bully, seems to have his or her shit together, oh, okay, then it's worth it. You're taking a risk, though, because people don't like a tattletale. I don't know why. Hey, you know how our division isn't making any money? Well, the reason why is our boss is such a totalitarian bullying fucktard that he's made 3 girls cry and quit in 1 month, and you can't keep anyone from 90 days or more. Turnover kind of sucks. Put me in command. Never happened, but something to consider. You go up to you can get proof, get evidence, and go to the boss's boss. Say, here's the situation. This is not acceptable to me because I can't do this. They're mutually exclusive. Some of the evidences they were citing was like how bully bosses will give you impossible deadlines. They'll set you up to fail. I've had a couple clients like that on Asshole Consulting. A lot of you guys, when you're working 70 to 80 hours a week and they said it was going to take 40, quit. Just walk away. Just quit. So you go and say, this is what's going to happen, that's what's going to happen. And what I would be prepared to do is, in my particular cases, if you're going to go to your boss's boss, you say, here's my 2 weeks notice. If you fix the situation, I'll rescind it, but otherwise, I'm putting in my resignation. I'm not going to deal with that. So you have 2 weeks. You know, if turn it around or I'm gone in 2 weeks, 5 weeks after that, you fix it up, you want me back, let me know. But otherwise, I'm not dealing with this anymore. There's my 2 weeks. And in the meantime, I'm answering to you, not him. And that's about it. You got to assume you're just going to get fired or they're going to ask you to retire or quit or something like that. Because I've never successfully pulled it. I've even gone in there and say, I'd like his job. Because I'm me. You guys like balls on this kid. But yeah, when you have a boss that's a bully and either it's corrupt to the top or even if the boss's boss is not corrupt, you're just basically going to have to find another job. And every time, not most of the time, every time I had a bully for a boss, I ended up looking them back up and they're gone. None of the management was there anymore. And not because like we're talking like 6 months to a year. They were all gone. They were all either fired, laid off, or forced to go somewhere else. So then, what I like to do to add a cherry to the top is I like to keep tabs on people. I like to keep track of people. And one of my bosses, once escaped me. One of the bullies, he was a coworker bully. I don't know where he went. Unfortunately, I don't remember his last name. But one of my bosses ended up getting a cease and desist order against him on the next bank he ended up going and working for. Now, keep in mind, this is a big guy. And I rode my motorcycle out there. This was when Aaron had really zero fucks to give. There was no Asshole Consulting. It was just, I was working security. So I showed up, had my motorcycle helmet on, walked up, knocked on the door, took it off. He's like, Aaron! I'm like, hey, how you doing? Shook his hand because they're polite. So I just want to congratulate you on your cease and desist order. I said, I never thought you could mismanage a bank even more, but apparently you did. Just got so red. You almost want to try and get him to punch you. You don't know what you're talking about. Hey, I won't mention his name. I say, it's amazing you're not in jail and that you still have a job. Turned around, walked back. I'm like, come on, pal. Come on. I want to hear your footsteps. I want to hear your fucking footsteps. And I didn't. And I like to rub it in their faces. I like to. There's a couple people. You don't harass them. You don't assault them. We just say, hey, I see. Very nice. All right, bye. and that just the fact that you're not fucked up as they are. Because here's the other thing about bullies. In work or not, they're bullies. They won't succeed in the real world. You got to work together with, you have to be at least somewhat agreeable and professional with one another. And if all you do is harass and threaten and harangue and beat up metaphorically or physically, you don't last too long. In the fictional world of school or the real world of the real world. So the overall thing with bullies is you just got to let them go. You avoid them. A lot of people, you should take jujitsu and learn to fight. Yeah, that doesn't help when you're like 98 pounds soaking wet. It doesn't help. The best thing to do is avoid them. And like the pretty little trophy wife who had everything handed to her because men wanted they wanted to fuck her basically, and no one corrected her because they all wanted to fuck them, aka Bill Burr's great quote. But then when they turn 40 and they get wrinkly and all of a sudden the world doesn't work out, those women cannot function. Because they've never lived in the real world. They've always gotten bailed out. They've never had to face it. It's the same thing with bullies. No one stops them because they're bigger. They get away with it the entire time until they get into the real world. And you're either faced with lawsuits, cops, or in the case of the bully in high school that I used to know, you can find a bully that's a little bit bigger. And he might have just as jackal shit going on in his life too. And he may also have nothing else to live for. And he might just fucking kill you. I think that's what happened. Because I don't know. It could have been DUI. I guess you could have gotten killed in a car accident. But I'm having the way he would look for fights. He would look for it. I think he just picked on the wrong guy. Who knows? He picked on a small guy and the small guy had a gun. Who knows? Point is, bullies don't survive. They don't thrive. They might survive, but they do not thrive in the real world once they get out of an environment that allows them to get away with their bullshit. So the best thing to do is to just let them go. One could even argue that fighting a bully and showing him down might actually make him change his behavior. If you really want to punish him, let him go. Just sidestep him, man. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go do their thing. At work, at school, whatever. Let him go. And you remove yourself from that environment and you go to a place where both the administration of the school and your employer hire and have the staff that result in a professional and safe working environment. Period. And if they can't do that, you get the fuck out of the school and you leave that fucking employer. Period. Because you deserve better than that. You deserve to be safe and not assaulted or harassed. Very simple. Very libertarian ideals here. It's not even libertarian, it's just the fucking golden rule. All right? And if your bosses or your principal can't make it so that golden rule is adhered to in his or her fiefdom, their organization, then you don't want to be in that fiefdom or organization. All right, that's it. You guys got questions, go to America's Older Brother at assholeconsulting.com, where I, the world's only professional asshole, will take care of all your problems as long as you guys. I won't take care of them. I'll tell you what the answer is, and you're just going to give me money. Donate to my Patreon because you can imagine I am not terribly employable. I don't really need the money, but donating to my Patreon pisses off all the right people, so you go to patreon.com/Aaron Clary. What else? We got my books. You can find those on Amazon.com, and the Clary Podcast, available on SoundCloud.com. All right, we'll see you guys later. Toodles.